ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
As you know, LA has a football team again. The Rams are back, and there's a player on the Rams named William Hayes does not believe in dinosaurs. For real, he thinks dinosaurs are a hoax cooked up by some very rascally archaeologists. I don't know, but I decided to take William on a field trip to the LA Natural History Museum, where they have all sorts of dinosaur bones. And here is my dinosaur day with William Hayes.
Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody wants the dinosaur. Boom, boom, like a boom, 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 like a boom, 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 like a boom.
So, how old were you when you realized you didn't believe in dinosaurs?
Jimmy, I don't ever really believe. I never really believed.
Never?
No.
So even as a little kid, when you were learning about dinosaurs, you didn't believe them?
I don't have a big imagination.
Listen, I think skepticism is a good quality to have. I think we should challenge the things we're expected to believe.
Okay.
I mean, not necessarily to this extent, but let's take a look around and see what you think.
No doubt about it.
Look at that. This doesn't move you in any way?
Absolutely not.
So what do you think these are?
Like clay.
Maybe it is clay, I don't know. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm an educator here for the Natural History Museum.
Oh, we need you, Dan.
Please.
Have you met people who don't believe in dinosaurs before?
Yeah, every now and then we do get people who don't believe in dinosaurs.
Are you able to persuade them that dinosaurs are real?
I give the facts and some of my personal experience with these.
Okay. Your personal experiences as in
As
seeing
in
one?
As in actually going out and digging for dinosaurs.
You've never dug up a dinosaur before?
I
Have
have.
you?
Yes, I have.
Where?
Utah.
If Daniel has pictures, will you believe?
Absolutely not.
No. So you think
Whoever Daniel went and did those dinosaurs up would probably put them there.
You think somebody planted the bones under the ground?
And they knew exactly where to go get them from.
I don't know about that.
Well, yeah, of course you don't know.
Yeah.
You're the one who was tricked.
The fossils that I dug up personally actually found using a jackhammer, and I don't think anybody can.
You believe in jackhammers?
Jackhammers.
You do.
Man seen jackhammers before.
Yeah.
And here we have our T-Rex skull, and it is one of the most complete T-Rex skulls ever found.
So those the real teeth from T-Rex?
Yeah, the lower jaw is pretty complete. If you take a look in between the cracks, we put in things like clay and glue to hold it together.
So you're saying this is a lot of this is clay?
Not a lot. Well, the
A lot.
Yeah, a lot of it's clay.
A lot of this is clay.
You can definitely tell.
When a bone gets covered in mud, that mud would harden, and then water will come in through the cracks and replace the bone with minerals. And what you're left with is a natural replica.
So that's a real dinosaur bone.
This is a natural copy, basically, a fossil.
It's a copy.
A copy.
Yeah.
How many people are involved in this scam, Daniel?
I understand why it's hard for people to believe that these animals did exist at one point.
Because nobody never seen them.
I'm glad we established this. Let's keep going.
Right here, we have a Struthiomimus, along with an ostrich and a goose.
So
And
are birds dinosaurs?
birds are dinosaurs.
Who made that rule up?
When we looked at the fossils, we
No,
found...
not we.
Yeah.
Y'all looked at the fossils.
Yeah, right.
Hell no.
Not us.
Yeah,
I don't want no parts of
You
that.
yeah.
and your friends
One
that are
day.
involved in this conspiracy.
So here we are at the Age of Mammals exhibit.
Mammals aren't dinosaurs, right?
No, they are not. They were here when dinosaurs were here. So we
Uh-huh.
can start off right here if you'd like. Pachycetus ataki.
What?
Is Pachycetus ataki.
Pachycetus ataki.
Pachycetus ataki to you, too.
Does it remind you of any animal life?
It looks like a dog or an anteater or something.
Yeah. It's actually the ancient ancestor of modern-day cetaceans, or whales, dolphins, and porpoises.
That's a whale?
Come
That's a
on,
walking
man.
whale.
Come on, Jimmy.
It's not a whale.
Hell no, that ain't no whale. That
No, that was not. You have that
That's
wrong.
definitely not flip.
You got to redo this because it's
Yeah,
wrong.
that's terrible. You believe that?
That? No, no way.
Basically, there are two kinds of skeletal mounts in museums today. Most mounts or skeletons of dinosaurs that you see on display are casts of the real bones in either fiberglass or some other light material. What's done is once the fossil is cleaned up, once the skeleton is prepared, then the curators work with metal workers called mount makers in order to devise the pose that they want the animal to be in. And lots of times they'll make detailed drawings or even scaled down models of how they want this animal to look. Then they blow those designs up into a full-scale mount and have to construct an iron framework called an armature.
I really like dinosaurs. T-Rex, Stegosaurus, Triceratops. You know that feeling when you walk into a museum being in the same room as a dinosaur? It's just special. The actual bones of something that was alive roaming the earth millions of years ago. So you can imagine how shocked I was when I found out that some of those bones on display in museums weren't real.
What do you mean, not real?
I mean, not real. The bones on display are replicas.
What, like even at like the Smithsonian?
Yeah, even at the Smithsonian. Nah, but like you, I was confused, needed to find out a little more, so did a little journey, found out why they use replicas, I found out who makes these replicas, and you know, I really found out that it wasn't as bad as I thought.
I feel like I was lied to like my whole childhood.
Same, totally the same, but you know what? We'll get through this together.
When you see the Max display, you see a big, grand layout of a skeleton with bones mounted on that. Those are replicas of the original bones. We use replicas for a couple of different reasons in exhibits, and the biggest reason is that the fossils are irreplaceable and they're fragile. To mount a fossil skeleton either requires an extremely expensive and complex armature, or it requires drilling holes into these irreplaceable bones. We really don't like to do that if we can avoid it.
The actual fossils are petrified, so they weigh like unbelievable amounts of pounds. In casts, you can make basically a shell. They don't even have to be filled in, or you can fill them in with another very light material. And then you have the same skeleton, for instance, at the American Museum of Natural History, in the entrance Roosevelt Hall, there's this huge Barosaurus rising up on its hind legs. That skeleton weighs 800 pounds. If you had the actual fossil, you would be looking at something 5-10 tons on this little spot, you know, way beyond any conceivable floor loading. There's a preference now for casts because you can do really lively things. You know, you can have a T-Rex standing on one leg and using the other leg to stomp on a Triceratops and so on, which you could have never done with the actual fossil bones.
I think that many people, when they come to a museum, don't necessarily realize what things they're looking at and which ones are replicas of those specimens. I personally don't think that's actually a big deal. These replicas are so incredibly good that at a glance, even an expert can be confused as to whether they're looking at the original or not. The replicas are accurate down to sub-millimeter scales, so you really are hard-pressed to tell the difference.
How did the museums get involved?
Well, the first museum to use bone clones was the Santa Barbara Museum of Natural History, and from there, it kind of just blew up. The Smithsonian started using them, the Field Museum, American Museum of Natural History, museums all over the world.
You know, it's amazing how real they look.
Right? They really do.
Okay, enough of the bullcrap. Now, as you all can see, I hated to spend 7 minutes on showing you this, but as you all can see, there are no real dinosaur bones in any museums, okay? They're all replicas, castings, fiberglass, plastic, clay, okay? There's no real dinosaur bones put together. There's never been a real whole dinosaur found and put together in a museum, okay? They find one or two bones and then they make believe put a structure to these bones, okay? But here's the real truth. The real truth is these bones are the giant bones from the Bible, okay? Nowhere in history will you ever find in any ancient culture a depiction of a dinosaur. Nowhere in the Bible does it say anything about a dinosaur, and nowhere in any ancient depictions will you find dinosaurs, because they don't exist. They are made up. Okay, and then when you ask about these real bones, the real dinosaur bones, oh, they keep them in vaults. You can't see them or touch them because they're valuable. So they make this plastic stuff up. But you spend all kinds of money coming to museums and look at it and watch whatever kind of movies they're playing about dinosaurs and all that. You watch it on Discovery. They teach you this from the time you're a child, and you believe it without questioning it. Now, let's see what the Bible says about creatures, all the creatures on the earth that was ever made. They tell you these dinosaurs were from billions of years ago. Now let's look at what the Bible says. Okay, Genesis 1:20 through 30. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth, in the open firmament of heaven. Okay. 21, and God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. He didn't say, let the dinosaurs rule. Okay, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Okay, now, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Now, who discovered the first dinosaur fossil? It's a bigger question than you might think. In 1677, Robert Plot is credited with discovering the first dinosaur bone. But his best guess as to what it belonged to was a giant human. Now, in 1842, the trailblazing British scientist Richard Owen announced the discovery of the dinosaurs to great acclaim. The first of these dinosaurs to be was a huge carnivore discovered in an English rock known as Stonesfield State and published by William Buckland in 1824 under the name Megalosaurus. Okay, now, Sir Richard Owen, the man who invented the dinosaur. Now, check him out. Here's what the guy looks like. It's all a bunch of bullcrap. It's all a bunch of lies. This is a guy, another Freemason, along with all the other liars who have deceived you.
Hey, you know how dinosaurs don't really exist? They never existed. They were invented by the Royal Society in 1841. Fact.
The class Dinosauria was originally defined by Sir Richard Owen of the Royal Society and Superintendent of the British Museum Natural History Department in 1842.
All dinosaur bones are replicas made by chicken bones from China. True story. And you know why you can't use real dinosaur bones? Because they claim that they're still radioactive because of the asteroid 66 million years ago.
In what was known as the Great Dinosaur Rush, or the Bone Wars, Edward Drinker Cope of the Academy of Natural Sciences and Othniel Marsh of the Peabody Museum of Natural History began a lifelong rivalry and passion for dinosaur hunting. They started out as friends, but became bitter enemies during a legendary feud involving double-crossing, slander, bribery, theft, spying, and destruction of bones by both parties. None of them once claimed to find a complete skeleton either, so all their work involved reconstructions. In fact, to this day, no complete skeleton has ever been found.
Okay? So now that you realize the dinosaurs are already an absurd farce. Absurd, guys. When you look into the bone wars and how many of them have been proven false, there is not one single skeleton of a dinosaur that exists in the world. None. The engineers have proven that none of the bodies would work. All the guts would fall out. Like a brontosaurus, stegosaurus. You can't prove the Earth was here 66 million years ago. I'm not saying it was or wasn't, but there's no evidence of anything. None. You can't carbon date fossils. They're stone. There's no actual living anything in them. You can't carbon. No one knows anything about timelines. This is all nonsense.
It was invented by the Royal Society in 1841. You can look this up. I know people that have degrees in which they're paying off debt to this day in paleontology. They have whole degrees in things that are lies. It's like those things that you're looking at right there, those skeletons don't exist. They've never found a single skeleton like that. They're all invented.
Now, let me show you what dinosaurs really are.
They expect us to believe that ancient civilizations just sat around and built giant steps for no reason at all. No reason at all. Not to mention having the tools to do this with, but for no reason at all built these giant steps. And at the same time, they expect us to believe that these ancient depictions of giants are just depicted in their artwork for no reason at all. No reason at all. Now, I would suggest that you take the time and do the research, and you're going to find your true history.
Mysterious giants, the sons of God, and the daughters of the earth, spoken of in Genesis.
Anytime you read the book of Genesis, there are all kinds of unanswered questions. Suddenly, there is this quick few verses at the beginning of the flood story about giants in the land that come from the sons of God mixing with the daughters of the earth. And you stop and think, wait a minute, what's this all about? It's like it went by too fast. And you want to grab it and say, wait a minute, what was this?
The Book of Enoch offers a disturbing vision of the fall of the angels who lust after earthly women.
These angels have crossed over this boundary that they shouldn't have. They were spiritual beings and they were to remain as such. When they decided to descend upon earth, this unleashed upon the earth all sorts of problems. Not only these giants who are bloodthirsty and violent, but also these angels went on to teach humankind a variety of forbidden crafts.
There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown.
Chapter 7. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them and defile themselves with them. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
That's right, and we've been digging their bones up since around the 1840s when we started excavating and making roads. And in order to hide these giants, to stop people from believing in God and the Bible, well, they make up these fake creatures, these beasts that never existed.
Since the late 1800s, there have been countless newspaper articles reporting discoveries of giant human remains being found all over the world. 18 strange skeletons found in Wisconsin, giant skull in San Antonio, Texas, giant bones found in New York, as well as similar discoveries in Austin, Texas, Los Angeles, Boston, and the list goes on.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
The last and only Nephilim ever captured on film from the early 1930s in Japan.
Now, the funny thing about this footage is it's a military parade. The military had this giant in the military. Okay, who we go to war with? Who we drop a bomb on? Hiroshima, think about it. Huh? Because that's the only thing that could kill this big giant. Think about it, think about it. This was was recorded in 1931. 10 years later, we went over there and blew them up. Come on. Because the soldiers couldn't handle this giant, and they knew that that giant was their weapon. That's why we went over there and dropped the bomb. It's all been lies. It's all hidden, and I'm showing it to you right now. Dinosaurs never existed, ever, ever, ever. It's just a cover-up, a hoax. It's a hoax, a cover-up for the real giants that I just showed you that the Bible told you was here. You can't just believe the Jesus part of the Bible. You got to believe all the Bible, and you got to believe all the books that they stripped from the Bible that you've never even read that tells you what was here and what happened to this earth and how this earth was made, how it was created, what it looks like, and what was here. You have been lied to, and my job is to tell you the truth. Whether you like it or not, I'm not going nowhere. I'm here to show you the truth. Thanks for watching, and God bless.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.